What's up, and welcome into the Friday Night Pigskin Week 9 edition, served up hot and fresh right here. I'm Brian, this is Eric, and man, I hope that you brought a whole big appetite for football tonight because we've got 7 highlights coming up for you guys. We've got league championship winning coaches that are going to be calling in. We're going to be breaking down the playoff brackets, show you guys all of the conference standings from the 5 leagues that we pay attention to, and oh so much more, Eric. But hey, you know, a trick or treat season, so right now I want to know what's a trick that you've seen, and then also I'll give you a treat eventually. But first,
very good.
Let's begin with the trick. What'd you see?
The trick tonight was Hayden and I, Aaron Hines, we thought we were going to get a competitive football game, and we did not get that at all.
Okay, where was you at? What'd you see?
Well, we were at the Shelby Clear Fork game. We were expecting a little bit more offense from Shelby. Didn't get it. Shelby struggled on defense. So the trick would be over 1,100 yards given up in three league losses for Shelby. That's tough to handle. You know, losing turnover battles big time, lots of penalties as well. Just a rough 3 losses in the league. They get to finish, try to turn that trick into a treat next week, try to stay in that playoff hunt. The treat would be Clear Fork's Victor Scoob with 5 touchdowns tonight, looking like a dude, well over 200 all-purpose yards, the pick 6, which was flat out phenomenal. But when you look at the big picture, the big treat's going to be West Holmes, the way that they're destroying teams. And, you know, I know we're going to be covering that. But, you know, for me, I was just expecting tonight, the game that we called at, the game that Hayden and I was at tonight, just did not live up to what we thought it was going to be. We thought there'd be some points scored. I thought the over-under might be 60, but I didn't think Clear Fork would clear that by themselves.
Wow, yeah. So they hit the barometer just on a solo mission.
Right.
So a trick and a treat all in one game. But let's begin with the OCC, Eric. And we know that this is kind of a one-pony race at this point.
Right.
You mentioned West Holmes and what they've been able to do. We'll show you their final score here in a minute. I think it's going to shock some of you folks out there. But we were over at Arlen Field tonight. The Mansfield TY Tigers were looking for what? I think their 5th consecutive win heading into this one with 4 straight victories. And with Mount Vernon on the schedule, usually it goes pretty well for you.
Right.
We'll show you how it went for the Tigers tonight at home. And we're going to begin things with, how about the quarterback? And Mr. Reese, Duke Reese, he's been running a little bit more lately.
Yes, he has.
This puts Mansfield Senior up 7-zip. It's in the first quarter. We're going to take you to the second quarter now. They're going to get lined up, and they're going to give it to their bruising back. It's Ricky Mills, 7 yards into the zone. 14-zip. TY out in front. Ricky ain't done, though, from basically the same exact spot on the field. Matter of fact, it was. He's going to get in there again. His second 7-yard touchdown run tonight. He's just such a physical, dominant force in the run game. Later on, we're going to go to the air here. It's the Duke going deep into the end zone, and on the other end, it's Amar, the Star Davis, 35-yard connection. Tigers in a lopsided affair here. That made it 28-0. And then Christian Javert, this capped off the scoring. 9-yard catch in the end zone would make it 35-0. Mansfield Senior improves to 7-2. And you look back on those weeks 3 and 4 where they lost a combined 70-7, Eric. But to some quality competition. Since then, Tigers been pretty lights out.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, when you look at their region, they can make noise in that region. There's nobody in that region that they play in that you're saying is a lot better than Mansfield. So they're with their playoff positioning and seeding, they're going to be at home probably for 2 games. And they've lost to
Massillon, Washington.
Who's
going to be number 1 in their region.
Number 1 in their region, who's probably a legitimate state championship caliber team. And then the same thing with West Holmes.
Number 1 in their region.
Who's going to be a really tough out in region 14, I believe it is. So Mansfield's really, really good. Duke Reese, like you said, he really has, because he ran for well over 100 yards last week.
Yeah.
And so he's really turning it on at the right time. We know Coach Adams in that defense. They're always fantastic. Sure. So as long as they continue to bring offensive creativity, I think Mansfield's going to be fine. I think if you're a TY Tiger fan, they're hitting their stride at the beginning of the year. I think we sat here and talked about over under 9 wins for Mansfield. I'm still sticking with over. I think they're going to go 8-2, and I think they're going to get a couple wins in the playoffs. I think this team's good enough to make a push.
They're the only team that can still compete for the conference championship, along with West Holmes, who did lock up at least a share tonight. Let's show you their final score right now, and it was a blowout. We thought that New Philly, and they kind of do have a good defense.
They do have a good
but
defense.
60 points. Mason
Right.
Wolf tonight was almost perfect. 14 of 18, 274 and 4 scores, and Sam Williams-Dixon, 2 more touchdowns. They didn't even need him to be special.
No, and he went off last week as well.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. When you hear people talk about Region 14, the first thing they talk about is Glenville, and people bring up Van Wert, and rightfully so. Those are quality teams, obviously. But West Holmes has to be in that conversation. They are better than last year. Their scoring margin, I believe, has been over 35 points this year. Last year it was only 22.
Right.
And we saw them get to a Division III state Final Four. So I think, there aren't enough adjectives to describe how good West Holmes is. So, what I'm impressed with is New Philadelphia, no matter who they've played, their defense has done well. They've just struggled scoring points. So, when you look at the rest of this conference, Mansfield's playing really, really well. Ashland, I think, is finding a little bit of a groove here as well. They're competing for a nice playoff spot. And then, Madison coming off that win last week. Lexington getting another. Coach Cedar's doing a nice job, man. What is that, 3 wins for them on the year? So
5?
5. Well, that's right. That's right. 5
now.
wins. Sorry, I apologize, Coach Cedar. So 5 wins for Lex. I mean, you're talking about a 5-5 season coming off, a really struggling year last year. Congratulations to him and that staff on having a great year.
Yeah, taking care of Worcester tonight, and
Right.
they had a nice long drive at the end of the game.
Right.
Worcester turned it over twice in special teams, kind of shot themselves in the foot to allow the Arrows to get that win. And then you talked about Lexington getting that win over Madison. So let's check out the standings now in the OCC and how things have shaken out so far through 9 weeks of the season. And of course, it's West Holmes. They're the front runner. They're leading
Right.
the pack right now. They are 9-0, undefeated in the league. Mansfield Senior 1 game behind them, but they got to get some help,
Right.
and they would have to have West Holmes lose a game.
Right.
And these are the Division III Region 10 standings, which we do have Mansfield Senior in, but they're looking pretty good right now, Eric.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Look at those teams. There's nobody in there that I don't think that Mansfield can compete with. I really do believe that. Columbian got beat up tonight by Perkins. So I don't know if that's updated. Then Tiffin's really doing well because to hold on to that 1 seed after getting throttled tonight
Sure.
by Perkins. But I'm telling you, there's nobody in there that if you were to put Mansfield on a neutral field or at Arlen Field, that I wouldn't say Mansfield could walk out with a dub.
And right now, if the postseason were to start, they would play Padua Franciscan, a team that I believe
Right.
they beat just a couple of seasons
Right.
ago when
Right.
they matched up in postseason play. So I think you're right. I really do like the Tigers' opportunity
Right.
and chance. They're playing some great football right
They are.
now. And we'll see if they get 1 home game. Maybe they can get even 2. All right, guys, we always put the burden on your back of what is the best play of the week along with the best individual performance. So after all the votes rolled in, here's who you decided was our Friday Night Phenom from week number 8. A lot of great choices out there this week. I think we had 7 of them. But this was the best of the best, according to you. Blake Foos, 4 total touchdowns for Seneca East. 273 yards through the air. A couple of rushing scores as well for this Tiger in a come-from-behind victory over Mohawk. A thrilling win for the Tigers. Got to give it up to Blake.
Yeah, great job there. How about that, man? What'd you say, 4 total touchdowns there and a big win, so congratulations to Blake.
But the top play of the week actually going to be coming from the same exact game, but on the other side. Check this out. Is it going to go through? Just
Oh, man.
barely. Braden Chester, a clutch 27-yard field goal that looked like it was going to be the game winner, if not for a crazy finale to that game just last week up in Attica. So those are your Phenom and top play winners from week number 8. We'll have some nominees for you rolling out from week 9 on the podcast on Monday. All right, Eric, pleasure as
Hey,
always.
thanks, man.
Appreciate
Thanks,
the time. When we come back, we're going to send it over to Hayden and K-Mac Trav. They are going to have your report on that league as well as an interview with one of the champion coaches in the league and so much more on the way after a quick break.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me every week with my Country Roads rankings. We'll go over the small school top 10 football schools here in the area.
Our number one receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders, brought to you by Spitzer of Mansfield.
What's up, America? Brian Skowronski here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Pigskin, brought to you by Adena Corporation, live and free on the OH Report. I'm not going to send it to break tonight, so I had to put that in there, Hayden. But back, K-Mac Trav, so we have K-Mac for you this evening, and our first highlight of the night is going to be down at Fredericktown, the Freddies, Hayden, a backdoor chance of still getting a K-Mac championship, but they had to get through Cardington first.
Yes, they did, and let's find out exactly how they were able to do so. Let's take a look at our highlight of that game tonight. We're going to be kicking it off at senior night down at Fredericktown. Tegan Rule going to take it in the senior back.
He's good.
Big night from him on the evening, and he's not done there. 77-yard house call for Tegan here in the pink cleats, too, for senior night. Look at him hauling it.
Ooh, little juke there.
Into the end zone. It would be 14-0 Freddies in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, Cade Carpenter's 67-yard hookup from quarterback Ben Mast. Going to turn on the Jets, gets past that last defender, takes it in. It would be 20-0 Freddies with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Then coming up next, one of the craziest plays of the year. Final snap before half. Kalen Biggs laying low. Right place, right time.
Wow.
Unimaginable.
Tip drill. Unbelievable. He came down with that?
Yeah, take a look at it one more time in slow motion. We zoom in. Unreal. Off the tip.
Off the hip.
Hauls it in.
Huh.
But Cardington still would trail 23-12. They would make it a game. Wyatt Denny follows up a 1-yard touchdown run, and then Cardington would get the 2-point conversion, just down a field goal now, 23-20. But the senior running back, Tegan Rule, would rule the night. 3rd of 4 touchdowns for Tegan, and he answers Cardington's response. Got to give them a little bit more of a cushion, jump that lead back up to 30-20. Fredericktown.
Did I mention he's good?
And then finally, this play would all but seal the deal.
House call.
Caden Beach, house call, pick 6 from quarterback Trevor Bauman to give Fredericktown the 44-28 victory on senior night down in Freddyville.
It's a big win for Fredericktown. They need to win out because they're in a tough region in Division 5. But if they make the playoffs, Hayden, do you think that Tegan Rule and company can maybe get a win or two in there? Because Tegan, really good. You have Cade Carpenter as a wide receiver, and then Ben Mass, a full season at quarterback now because last year he was injured. But do you think this squad has what it takes to make a run?
I think that the chemistry those three have, getting back to their natural positions, I do think that I'd give them good enough for a 1 win for sure. I think they could be a tough out and could possibly look to get a couple wins into the postseason. So we will yet to see what Fredericktown's fate is. But, Travis, another team competing for that KMAC championship, Centerburg, they took on Northmore tonight, and you were at that game.
Yeah, so a little backstory with this. Last year, Northmore was in Centerburg's position. They needed 1 win in the last 2 weeks to at least clinch a KMAC championship. They hosted Centerburg on their turf. It was a rainy night, and Centerburg pulled the upset to get the victory, got into the playoffs with that win as well. Trying to avoid that same fate that Northmore had on that night. And let's get to the highlights, see if the Centerburg Trojans can clinch at least a share of the KMAC championship. And they were hitting big plays early. Tyler Johnson finding Mason Tursky down the sideline with the dime, and it's going to set up one Tyler Johnson from 5 yards out, and he did quite a lot on the ground tonight. It is 7-0 Trojans after 2 possessions. Next Trojan possession, and Johnson, he's going to go to the other sideline to Jesse Rings, who's going to bring it in and get taken out inside the 5-yard line, and that sets up who else but one Tyler Johnson. 3 plays later, look, he's going to get taken down in the backfield. Wait, no, he's going to bust through 4 defenders and get into the end zone. 14-0 Trojans. That's how it went that night. Second quarter now, and guess who? Yeah, you're
Tyler
right.
Johnson.
Yeah, through a hole, cuts to the outside. Throw the confetti, everybody. Wow. It's 21-0. But the Golden Knights, they would respond. A.J. Bauer going deep down the middle, and Hunter Folk mosses Johnson to get into the end zone. It is 21-6. Then after a 3-and-out, Northmore with a chance to get back into this, but Bauer throws it up, and it's picked by Rings. And then less than 1 minute later, who else?
Tyler Johnson.
But Tyler Johnson putting the game away at the half, battling into the end zone. He scored 6 rushing touchdowns. You're right, 6. As Centerburg rolls 49-13. Hold up that trophy. They have clinched at least a share of the KMAC championship. Here's some stats for you. Tyler Johnson, 24 carries, 148 yards, 6 touchdowns on the ground. Oh, and he can throw too. 10 of 16 for a $163. Oh, and Kalen Lemaster had a ho-hum night as well. 14 carries, 138 yards and a score. That running attack just phenomenal down there in the heart of Ohio.
So a complete night for the Centerburg Trojans, obviously getting that share. It'll be determined next week whether they'll get it outright or they'll get a share. But let's find out. Let's pull up that scoreboard for the KMAC and find out what happened around the rest of the league. Obviously, just went over Northmore and Centerburg, 49-13. But Mount Gilead taking on Danville tonight. Another big game, 19-8. Danville wins. Yeah,
it was 19-0 at the half. Mount Gilead scored late in the second half to cut into that. But the Blue Devils, they're the only team still with a shot at a co-KMAC title. They got to win next week and then hope Fredericktown knocks off Centerburg and Freddyburg.
Then you obviously saw Fredericktown taking down Cardington 44-28. East Knox, tough season continues, dropping a game to Loudonville 49-8.
Yeah, the Redbirds, they can possibly get a home game with a win and help next week. They are in the playoffs. East Knox, the loss officially eliminates them from playoff contention.
And then not in the KMAC, but we do like to check in on the Hillsdale Falcons. They dropped a close one tonight to a tough opponent, 17-12 to Northwestern.
Yeah, a win could have kept them alive for a co-WCAL championship. They get the loss, but talk to me later here in the show, and we'll go over some playoff statistics and playoff possibilities for Hillsdale. They still have a chance of getting 2 home games, just a little bit of a chance now after the loss.
All right, so we touched on it briefly. If we do have those KMAX standings, let's see what's going on in the conference. We do not, but Travis, I think we kind of know what's going on. Break it down for us.
Yeah, just Centerburg, if they win Freddyburg over Fredericktown at home next week, they are the lone KMAC champions. And like I just said with Danville, if Danville gets a win next week and Centerburg loses to Fredericktown, then we'll have 2 KMAC champions, co-champions, Danville and Centerburg. Nobody else. Now, that back door has been closed with Centerburg's victory over Northbourne. Speaking of Centerburg, I just talked to this man after their championship win tonight, and, well, let's just talk to him some more. I have head coach Andy Coella on the hotline, or whatever you want to call it, the VMix line, whatever. But let's welcome in the head coach of the victorious KMAC champion Centerburg Trojans. How you doing, Coach? It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been. I'm doing pretty good. You?
Living the dream, my friend. Living the dream. So let's get right into it. Let's go back to last week first. You guys, you want to be a battle-tested squad going into the postseason, and I think it's been like that for you already. You had a last-minute win with a touchdown against Loudonville, and then last week, Danville takes the lead with a field goal late, but Tyler Johnson just brings your team right back to score. How important are these close wins and then these blowouts as well to just get you prepared for what you're going to go through in the postseason?
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to expect, when you get to the postseason. So to be able to win all kinds of different ways, I think is pretty important, for us as a football team, and continuing to get better. And, it gives our kids confidence too. They've been in a whole bunch of different situations. So when you get to that point, they have that experience and that confidence to be able to handle whatever it is thrown their way.
And to have a quarterback like Tyler Johnson, not often do you have a quarterback that can run the RPO like he does. Just how much has he been able to open up your offense with that ability to run the RPO so successfully?
Yeah, for sure. When you have a running quarterback back there, that opens up a different chapter of the playbook for you, and then having Kalen back there as well. You have that 2-headed monster, and teams have to pick their poison sometimes on what you're going to do, and then Tyler's ability to throw the football too, I can't be overlooked as well. So,
and that's going right into my next question. How has Kalen's style been able to complement Tyler's style back there to where you can't just focus on one player?
Yeah, they're both a little bit different. Body stature is different for sure. They bring, different elements to the game for each one of them. So it's not the same style of running back, or ball carrier. So, I would think that teams have to prepare a little bit differently for each one of them. And that takes a lot of time and effort to be able to do that.
You get this big win, you clinch the KMAC, at least a share right now, but you're through week 9, so now it is officially Freddyburg week. You know what happened at Fredericktown last year. They came in, they took that brand new trophy. What's it going to take, to get your guys focused? Because anytime a rivalry week, people get all fired up and things like that. But not only to get ready for a tough Fredericktown team with a good running attack, but then also to get an outright championship, and then possibly the ability to get 2 home games. What do you guys need to do this week to just stay focused and get ready for the task at hand?
Yeah, I think that's the key right there, is just stay focused on ourselves. There's a lot of exciting things that go on, during a week like this, but ultimately, for our kids, it's to be able to focus, on the game plan and getting better throughout the week, and make sure we're hitting Friday, on the right note, and you want to be at your best come Friday, and that's going to be the plan again this week.
Just a couple more questions for you, Coach. First, anytime we get one of your players for Phenom or Play of the Week, it seems like they always win because of just the fan base down there in the heart of Ohio in Centerburg. Just how great is it to just have such an awesome fan base down there that follows you through thick and thin? They'll go to the each end of Ohio if they have to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. And that's what high school football is all about, high school sports. It's a community-wide thing, and our community does a great job of supporting our kids, across the board in all sports. So it's really fun to be a part of.
And lastly, the last time you guys won a KMAC championship, the COVID year, you win against a Loudonville squad that that upset you because of a great game by Sam Williams-Dixon. Is that like in the back of your guys' head going into this postseason that we need to keep focused on that task at hand, because any night we might get the best shot from any team and maybe get upset?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get the best shot from everybody every week. So I don't think it's any different at that point in time if that's the way that you handle every week. And I think we've done that this season, especially from the beginning of the season on, and kind of after the way we started. That was our big focal point for us, is just to take it week by week and just have that mentality and that focus. And I think that's worked out pretty well.
Well, it has worked out pretty well the last 8 weeks, 8 in a row after losing week 1. You're KMAC champions. You still have an ability to, get another trophy, and the Freddie Berg Trophy coming up on Friday, and it'll be live and free right here on the OH Report, by the way, folks. But not only that, get 2 more home games for your seniors at Centerburg. So congratulations on the championship. I know you'll probably celebrate a little bit tonight, then get back at Fredericktown tomorrow. But congratulations, and thanks for staying with us right here on the Friday Night Pigskin.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Coach. All right, that'll do it from this side of the studio. Let's take it over to the pig pen, where Brian Skowronski's actually trying to clean some things up, and he's there with G-Man right now.
Ooh. I feel really overdressed right now. I think I need a hoodie.
Yeah, you need a hoodie. You got to throw on the sweats. You can't be coming over here with a belt. Get a collared shirt on. That's too much. We got to keep it loose over here in the pig pen. We're way too much to be wearing that kind of stuff.
I'll tone it down next time. Appreciate the invite, though. So what do we got going on tonight, G? Fill me in.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot about the N10, Brian, and I know that me and you, we had a great game in KMAC land, and, Fredericktown got the big win down there against Cardington, but I know you want to talk about Buckeye Central and Bucyrus. That was a good one.
Somebody had to win a game in the league. They both entered with goose eggs. Okay, in the N10 column in terms of wins, we're going to show you who got one tonight out in Buckeye Central Country. And it looked good for the Bucks early. How about Derek Steen? 3-yard touchdown run. This made it 7-zip early on in the first quarter. Bucyrus answering back, though. Malachi Bayless hits Cam Lewis 4 yards there. And Bucyrus starting to put it together. 29-yard run right here by Randy Banks gives them their first lead of the game. But back and forth we go. It's Dean to Steven Sostowski, my long-lost cousin. 32 yards into the zone. It's back to 14. We're square. But then how about this 75-yard burn and run? Blaine Bardo puts Bucyrus back on top, 21-14. But just before the halftime break, Buckeye Central's like, man, we want a piece of that. It's Manny Mullins making it 21-20. Bucyrus would tack on a field goal, not pictured here, but Mullins is right there, making it 27-24. But Malachi Bayless to Joe Rager, and he's raging all the way into the end zone. This would make it 30-27 early in the fourth quarter. Bardo's coming up here with a touchdown run of his own to make it 37-27, and we're going to cap things off with Mullins getting into the end zone, but it's too little, too late for Buckeye Central. Bucyrus gets off the schneid. They got the win in the N10 column, so congratulations. I know it's been not a great year for the Redmen. It's been a while since they tasted victory. Savor it tonight, guys. Enjoy it.
Yeah, they got to enjoy that one, over a rival like Buckeye Central that, two teams that have struggled as of late, but Buckeye Central, they started off fast, on the out-of-conference schedule, but Bucyrus able to get a big win there, and congratulations to them. They deserve it, but a game that might have been even better than that one, Brian.
Oh.
A team that I picked to win the Northern 10. I got a lot of flack for it. Upper Sandusky, they haven't had the season I thought they were going to have. They were taking on Cary. Let's roll the highlights and see what really was a close game. Not a lot of people thought that it was going to be that way, but number 24, Mason Rickle for Cary would score a 1-yard touchdown, but the extra point's no good. It's 6-0 Cary with 3:12 in the first. Dominic Yeater would get a huge touchdown catch from his QB, and they would fail the 2-point conversion. It's 12-0 in the second quarter. Caden Holman, though, for Upper Sandusky, they're not going to go away. They're going to hit Ethan Hill for a huge pickup. This is a big bomb, and this is going for 6. It's 12-7 with 2:10 left in the second quarter. With 7:50 left in the third, this is a big controversial play. A punt from Josh Hillman from Upper Sandusky takes a bounce off a carry player, giving Upper the ball back. This would be crucial. Caden Holman, the QB, with a 2-yard pass to Evan Hill to give Upper the 14-12 lead with 4:40 left in the third. And then number 13 carry, Lance Rickle, 18-yard touchdown pass to Dominic Eater for a TD. The two-point conversion is good. It's 20-14. And then finally, Holman would be intercepted as Carey would go on to win 20-14. So heck of a fight from those Rams up there on the road to take Carey to the ropes, one of the toughest teams that they're going to play all season, you could say. And now Carey, it looks like they're going to be, the N10 favorite, the N10 winner up there. So
they are.
Heck of an effort from Upper Sandusky. They didn't get it done, but Carey, I think we all know that they're the top dog in the N10. Let's take a look at the rest of the scoreboard throughout the entire conference. As you see, we just mentioned it, Upper Sandusky, they fell to Carey. Winford and Seneca East, this was kind of a bit of surprise. Seneca East coming off that big, comeback win against Mohawk. They survive versus Winford 32-31. And then Colonel Crawford boat racing the Mohawk Warriors 48-6. That one wasn't close.
Yuck.
This is your game, Brian. You mentioned it, 37-34. Bucyrus picks up a big win, and then not in the N10 conference, Hopewell Loudon gets a 3-point victory over Calvert, Brian.
Yeah, we see you out there, Calvert. They got off to a great start, and I don't know what happened to Buckeye Central. 3-0 out the gates, not a sense. So, this was definitely Carey's to win, and they did tonight. Congratulations to the Devils, back-to-back Northern 10 champions. Chance to make it 100% outright with another victory. Well, actually, they're already outright champs, I think. I think there's 2 losses at least for everybody else in the league. Oh, Seneca East just got the one? So you're telling me there's a chance, baby. It's not over yet.
I don't know.
All right.
I mean, not technically, but we'll see. I think that's it over here in the pig pen, though, at least for right now.
Okay. All right, we're going to send it to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, you know that we got plenty coming from the MOAC, and we're going to tell you everything that you need to know about the Firelands Conference race. Take a break. Bye, guys.
I'm Garrett G-Man Parlett, and check out my new show, The G-Man Project, exclusively on the OH Report.
I'm Travis Big League Berardi. Catch me every week with my Country Roads rankings. We'll go over the small school top 10 football schools here in the area.
Number 1 receiver coming from the Shelby Whippets, Isaiah Ramsey.
He's caught our attention over here, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on the Willard Flashes.
We will see you next week on the Stat Leaders brought to you by Spencer of Mansfield.
What's up, America? Brian Skowronski here, and if you want to see me and the gang chop it up with some unintelligent conversation, we've got the show for you. Check out the OH Report video podcast every Monday, exclusively right here on the OH Report.
Welcome back into the Friday Night Pigskin, brought to you by Adena Corporation. Now we're going to take a look at what's going on around the Mid-Ohio Athletic Conference. And Travis, we're going to start with you. Galleon playing a big game tonight against Pleasant, and let's just find out about it.
Yeah, a win could probably put Galleon into the playoffs, and after the tough start they had, everything going on. We mentioned this earlier in the stat leaders as well, that this could be a big win for Galleon to get them in the playoffs and get some momentum going forward. So let's get to the highlights, see if they were able to do so. And it's going to start off with Braxton Prosser, 10 yards off the right side, looking like Tyler Johnson there. 10 yards, it's a touchdown, but Pleasant, they're going to answer right back. Owen Lowry, 76 yards. Nobody going to catch him there. That's a touchdown.
He's an athlete.
Yeah, he is quite the athlete. One of the also up there in the stat leaders segment that we host every Thursday night. Just a plug right there for you. But then that one Braxton Prosser, again here in the first quarter, he's going to go out from 15 yards. A lot of running tonight here on the Pigskin, Hayden, to give Galleon the lead. Now to second quarter action, as Gabe Ivey, one of our top leading rusher, he's going to go in from 29 yards out for the score. But Lowry, he's going to come right back. Watch him scramble, finding nobody. Yeah, well, he's just going to take it himself, but it's not going to be enough as the Tigers win this one.
Tigers.
44-21. Go Tigers. Where's Coach O at anymore? He doesn't even have a job yet.
He's just getting paid.
Maybe Nebraska? You think Nebraska's going to get him? Anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. Galleon, we'll get to what they're going to happen in the playoffs here momentarily when I get back to Lenardi mode. But in the standings-wise, that was a pretty big win for Galleon as well, Hayden.
That was. With that and with, we'll get to it in a second, but a couple other losses, they now take sole possession of third place in the MOAC. So a good season for Galleon going on. I got to go see one of the top teams in the MOAC, Clear Fork, taking on Shelby.
Was it the Baby Goat versus the Goat, as Storm would say? Baby Goat Brandon DeVito versus Goat Victor Skoog? I don't know, but did it play out to be like that? Did the Goat beat the Baby Goat? Did the Baby Goat overtake the Goat? And I'm going to stop talking about Goat. That's just too much. Let's
dive right into it and see exactly what happened. So we take you down to the Valley. Powie Alt going to start things off. 2-yard rushing touchdown. The field goal would be no good. 6-0 Clear Fork early into the action, but it would soon be responded on the ensuing kick return.
Swimmer.
Miles Hall is going to go through a whole line and then take it to the house. 85 yards. Miles Hall, this would be their only offensive touchdown of the first quarter coming on special teams. So big one there. The field goal would be blocked, 6-6. Victor Skoog then going to take it in from 1 yard out. His first touchdown of the night. Keep track, folks. You might need more than one hand.
Quarterback's doing great tonight.
That field goal would be good. 13-6 Clear Fork. Then Luke Schlosser going to take it in on a 1 yard rushing touchdown.
Looking like Lucas.
That field goal would also be good. The point after, 20-6 Clear Fork. And then it's going to look like, is this the same play? No, but it's the same guy, same yardage. Luke Schlosser, another 1 yard touchdown. 27-6, starting to run away with this one.
Sloshing his way into the end zone, yeah.
But then Victor Skoog, just going to work that Skoog magic. Thinks about throwing it. Thinks about, do I still have a receiver? Nah, I'm just going to take off.
Ooh.
Skoog with the shifty moves takes it in. 34-6 after the extra point, Clear Fork. But Shelby has a little bit left to say. They drive before half goes. DeVito to Hall, 25-yard touchdown.
The Baby Goat.
They're going to get back on the board, but second blocked field goal on the evening for them. It would be 34-12 Clear Fork headed into the half. Then number 3 on the night, Victor Skoog, 61-yard rushing touchdown. Not a soul in sight, making it look easy. Takes it in. It would be 40-12 Clear Fork, and then things would just start imploding from here. I'm going to let you take a guess at who makes this play here, Travis.
Let me see. Victor Skoog?
Yeah, Victor Skoog, right after he scores, 15-yard pick six. And
Goat picked off the Baby Goat for 6.
The Baby Goat, as you guys say, would find the end zone here, though. 29-yard rushing touchdown. They'd make the extra point. It was 47-19. And then the GOAT of the MOAC, I like Hayden Shadone a lot, but Victor Skoog earned a ton of my respect tonight. 62-yard rushing touchdown.
Don't hold the ball out like that, though, son. It might get stripped away. But
if you're Victor Skoog, it doesn't matter. And I think this is the one. Check out the no, he had a good celebration somewhere tonight. I probably missed it. But
then too much.
The last scoring play of the night, a special one, goes to senior Hayden Fiddler on senior night.
Always got to give those seniors love that don't get a lot of playing time.
I've been told he's like 5'9", 140 pounds, but
he
takes
got a touchdown
in.
to his. That's one more than me. That's one more than you.
I don't know if anyone saw an 80-point spread tonight. Clear Fork wins it 61-19, but that was my night. Let's find out what happened around the rest of the MOAC. Let's take a look at your scoreboard and find out what's going on. In other games tonight, Highland taking down River Valley 42-21.
So this is what's going down in the MOAC. Clear Fork win. That sets up the unbeaten versus unbeaten in the MOAC. Highland versus Clear Fork next week because Highland wins 42-21 behind 5 touchdowns from the Dane Twain. I said Twain. Jeez, the Dane Train. The Highland Fighting Nommans. Good Lord. Although some serious news, though. Colton Stover in the game. Compound fracture to his arm. He's getting, I believe I heard on our sister station, the phone board earlier with Davy Jones. He's having surgery right now in Marion to get that fixed. So thoughts go out to you, Colton, and the family, and hopefully you have a quick recovery there. But other than that, the Dane Twain, that's going to stick with me forever. Good Lord. But it's going to be an MOAC title matchup at Highland next week. Clear Fork at Highland. Who will get the win? There's a lot of playoff implications there as well. And just please get me off of this.
I will.
Go. Let's move on.
Once we get past midnight, it's unpredictable. Ontario taking down Harding 38-6.
The Warriors in with a win over Shelby next week. Unless some bonus points come in here late from the great Joe Idol. They might be in tonight, but for sure next week, Shelby, Ontario, an elimination game. So the playoffs start right now for you Warrior fans.
Then you saw how Galleon handled Pleasant, and then obviously Independent Lucas. We throw them on this scoreboard. Tough loss to Fort Laramie tonight, 34-17.
Cubs kicked the field goal to make it 2017 with 10 minutes left, but then Fort Laramie put it away. I believe Lucas had a tough fumble, too, as they were driving. 34-17. But as Lenardi will tell you here momentarily, the Cubs still got a chance to at least get one home game at Bob Wine. Fireworks still have one more chance of getting there.
All right, well, that will wrap up things from the MOAC update with me and Twavis over here.
Lord.
Let's send it back over to the goofballs in the Pigpen 2.0.
Hey, guys. I think Brian finally got a hoodie, so I think he's now accustomed to the Pigpen kind of style, so I think we're good. I think it's even a 4X.
It is a 4X, so I'm going to blend in perfectly, I think.
Yeah, so it definitely fits, our style over here in the Pigpen, but we didn't have any Firelands Conference highlights because we got the big one tomorrow night. Chris, you can take on St. Paul up in Norwalk. That'll be for the Firelands Conference. But let's take a look at the scoreboard and check out what happened around that Firelands Conference League and see how things shaked up. Mapleton putting 53 on Monroeville. They beat them 53-29. Monroeville still not able to get that illustrious win so far this season. Western Reserve beginning to climb the rankings in the Firelands Conference. They won 42-12 over South Central, and then Macomb puts it on Plymouth 55-7. Oak Harbor hangs a 63-piece on Willard. They only get to 7. That offense was
where'd they go?
Came out firing out of the gate. First 5 weeks they were like scoring over 40 points a game. Kind of took a step back.
They fall in the harbor before the game or something? I don't know what happened.
And then you see it on the scoreboard. Crestview versus St. Paul. That's tomorrow night at 7. I'll be on the call for that one. Going to be for the Firelands Conference title. They played last year for this. It's going to be a rematch, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. I believe we have the Firelands Conference rankings. If we do, we'll pop those up on the screen here and kind of see how things are shaking up over there. But I think it's going to come down to that game tomorrow night. You see.
Yeah. Yeah, it obviously comes down to 8-0 versus 6-2, but both teams undefeated in league play so far, G-Man. So you look at the rest of the league, they don't really matter. Everybody's competing for third place or worse at this point in the season. So Cougars, Flyers, round however many years in a row they've played, but Crestview finally ended over a decade drought to St. Paul.
It was, I believe it was 10 years exactly last year, and they were able to knock them off, and they did it pretty convincingly too. I believe it was 28-0 or 28-7, some score like that, and The score was really closer than the game was. It was really never close. Crestview blew them out. That was on their home field. Now they're going to go up to Norwalk. It's a different environment, hostile environment. Flyers, they've been watching that tape from last year. They've heard all the talk that Crestview's the new dogs in the Firelands Conference, but it's going to go down. I think the Flyers got a chip on their shoulder, and I think they're going to surprise Crestview there in the first half. Crestview's going to have to, take the punches. It's going to be a heavyweight bout. So if you ain't got nothing going on tomorrow night, tune into that one. It'll be a great one in the Firelands Conference. But I think that's it for the Pigpen Part 2, Brian. Let's throw it over to Mr. Yak It Up, Travis. Go at it, buddy.
Lenardi time, baby. Let's get right into it, and let's start with D3 Region 10. The Mansfield Senior Tigers, they have clinched at least one home game at Arlen Field. They sit in fourth right now in D3 Region 10 because Medina Buckeye had a loss tonight. So there's still a chance that we may get 2 games at Arlen Field, with Brian with very intrigued look in that Mansfield Senior hoodie he got. Ontario Shelby, like I said, that is a play-in game. The winner of that is in. The loser's going to need some help. Lexington as well, sitting in 17th. They don't control their own destiny, though. They need to win and get help next week if they want to have a chance at making the postseason. All right, that's it for D3 Region 10. Now it's time to go D4 Region 14, where the Shelby Whippets, they've clinched a home game. They will be in the Valley for at least one more game. Glenville and West Holmes, as well as Perkins, those 3 have clinched 2 home games. There's only one more spot left for 2 home games. Clear Fork, a lot of playoff points coming up against Highland this coming Friday. Not only MOAC Championship, but the possibility of getting 2 games in the Valley. Galleon, you've made it. You are in the postseason now, with a win coming up next week. It might even boost them a little bit higher. Maybe a home game. There's still a lot that needs to happen, though, but they do get in. Shelby, like I said, it's a play-in game against Ontario. If they lose, they're going to need some help. Upper Sandusky, too. Tough defeat to Cary. Could have put them in, but they still control their own destiny. A win next week puts them into the postseason. That's it for D4 Region 14. Now let's get into D6 Region 22, and those Cary Blue Devils, they have clinched 2 home games up there at Cary. Cary, baby, they're going to be home for 2 more times. Crestview, sitting right there at number 2. I'm pretty sure a win over St. Paul in a game that you will see live and free tomorrow night will put them with 2 home games at Crestview. All but one spot has been locked up here in D6 Region 22. Seneca East, that win, they are in the playoffs. Colonel Crawford, they're still sitting at 8, so there's still a chance they could get 1 home game in the postseason. Mapleton, tonight, they have clinched a playoff spot as well. They sit at 14. Winford has been eliminated from the postseason. Bucyrus, despite the win, they needed a ton of stuff to happen, but they will not play in Week 11. But, hey, great win for them. Only 2 teams playing for that last spot. 3, Riverdale, Wellington. I was right, it was 2. I'm just talking too much right now. And Western Reserve as well, they're in. All right, enough for D6 Region 22 as a lot of Firelands Conference teams clinching tonight. Let's go to D6 Region 23, where there's no Northmore Golden Knights. They can still get in with a win over Loudonville, who clinched a playoff spot. Fort Fry, they've clinched home field. They are the number 1 seed, and even if they lose next week, they are the 1 seed, but they're the only team that has clinched 2 playoff spots. Mount Gilead, they are at 11 right now. They could move up a little bit. I don't know if they're going to be able to get a home game. Loudonville, however, if they beat Northmore, they could jump the Blair Big Red down on the Ohio River for that last home playoff spot. Northmore controls their own destiny, and that is it. East Knox, right now on Joe Idle, the great Joe Idle, it does not say eliminated, but Bulldog fans, you're going to need every single thing to go perfectly tomorrow, next Friday, and next Saturday, including a big win over Danville in the Devil Dog game. And that's it for D6 Region 23. You got one more region we want to show you, and that is D7 Region 25 with the Lucas Cubs, with Danville, with St. Paul. Danville, they have clinched a home game. They will be at home for 1. If they beat East Knox and get a little help, they could get 2 home games. St. Paul sitting at number 4. They've clinched a playoff spot. They could get 1 home game at least with a win over Crestview tomorrow night. Or 2 home games maybe if they win out. Hillsdale, despite the loss, still sitting at number 5. They had some help, so a win next week and some help, they could still possibly get 2 home games. They're going to be rooting hard for Crestview tomorrow night to beat St. Paul. Lucas sitting at number 9, but guess what? The Cubs are playing in Week 11. Let's go. They still have a chance with a win next week. The bonus points that they could host 1 game at Bob Wine. South Central sitting in 14th. They're going to need some help and a win next week to get in. Buckeye Central, even without the loss, it's like East Knox. They could still possibly get in, but they're going to need every single thing to happen. Plymouth as well. 3 and 6, they're going to need a lot of stuff to happen. But that's it for there. Ashland also, they control their own destiny with the win over Worcester. Worcester's going to need some help coming into next week. But that's it for Lenardi, as my bodyguards have come up here to discuss what we have coming up tomorrow night and then next Friday night for Week 10, the busiest week 10 of the year. Who's in, who's not? This guy's excited for tomorrow night.
You want to make a bold prediction for me, G? How's that one going to play out?
No.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Don't do it. He's on the call. Don't do it. Quincy Krabs and the boys.
Burger, Krabs versus Raymer.
They're going to make it a good one. I'm just looking forward to watching. I'll tell you that.
Me too.
I'm going to be tuning in live and free. I better make the fan zone because I'm going to be commenting about every 3 minutes. Hey, Adam says, who-ha, who-not, maybe me.
It's going to be the Centerburg of Crestview tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm going to be chiming in a lot. So that is tomorrow night, of course, the big one, the only live stream that we'll be having on the OH Report airwaves. Within on Week 10 action, we've got Lexington and Ashland, and then Crestview. Could they be playing for 10-0 again? They got Mapleton. That's going to be a big one, of course, for the Cougars, regardless of what happens tomorrow night. Moving on. We've got the Freddie Berg game, and then there was a great debate on the radio station that I was listening to on the way back about if you're a reporter down in Knox County, which one of these 2 games you want to go to? I know that there's a lot more at stake in Centerburg, but the Devil Dog game.
And it's at East Knox. That place is going to be. You were there 2 years ago. You know the atmosphere, Brian. I can't wait for Freddie Berg, though. They got that new trophy. Maybe we get some video of that this upcoming week, teasing about a little video we might do, but
I just cloned myself and I just go to both.
I cannot wait for Freddie Berg. That's going to be an amazing atmosphere in the heart of Ohio next week.
Give me Devil Dog. All right, we got one more sheet of games coming up for you. Galleon River Valley, and now the Tigers sitting all alone in 3rd place in the MOAC with a win. They are going to stay there. Pretty cool.
Yeah, but bonus points too. They beat River Valley. Maybe they get a home game.
Oh, how about that,
Week
Tigers?
11. Never know.
And for Madison, I imagine that their playoff chances are all over. But for Mansfield, hey, last time you guys met up and the Rams were having a pretty miserable season, guess what happened a couple of years back? I tend to recall.
And Mansfield Seniors possibly playing for 2 home games at Arlen, so you don't want to mess that up. And Madison, they've been eliminated after last week.
Way more at stake.
No Dwayne Twain?
No Dwayne I knew this was going to
All right, hey, Jory says hi.
I got one stat for you. We cover 43 teams on the Pigskin. Going after last week, only 7 were eliminated. We had 36 teams were still in it last week. All our team. We have some really good football in North Central Ohio, and I'm going to Dwayne. You guys, I've had enough.
Looks like all the lights are going out on me.